What's up guys, my name is Jake. Since Bright Sun Films turned 7 years old in July, I thought I should take a look back at one of the earliest abandoned videos I did, since I recall saying at the end of it,
and this is just an estimate, but if everything goes smoothly, the hotel may open sometime in 2016 or 2017.
So what really ended up happening to the infamous abandoned hotel in Daytona Beach? Well, it's been almost half a decade since my video on the building came out, so let's do an update on the continued troubled history of the Treasure Island Hotel in Daytona Beach, Florida. Ever since my video came out, a lot has happened to the building. Kind of. I speculated that the current developers had wanted to salvage the tower in late 2014, and that appeared to be true. First, the structure's front facade was cleaned up with the large tiki overhang removed, the surrounding grounds cleaned up, the pools properly covered, and the outer walls, including the sign, painted over. Work then immediately began with stripping out the tower, turning the abandoned, moldy interior into an 11-story concrete shell. During this process, a fire actually broke out on the top floor near the elevator shaft. Allegedly, the fire was started accidentally by construction workers in the process of removing the interior. It was later discovered that the elevator shafts were being used to throw trash into as the upper floors were being gutted, making it a very serious fire hazard. This really slowed things down, and as the year progressed, the city continued to push for the redevelopment of the property. But progress wasn't as quick as they may have hoped. In early 2016, construction had just stopped. Pretty much all of the building had been gutted, and while the entire property had been cleaned up, it was just left vacant once again. The company which had owned the former hotel for over a decade, RAIT, or R-A-I-T Financial Trust, was still progressing very slowly. The building was secured and had been properly cleaned up, but there was still a long way until it could ever reopen as a hotel. Furthermore, the city and residents were still unhappy with the appearance of the tower. Though later in 2016, the company did resume work on restoring the building's concrete structure, and in the meantime put the property up on the market for sale. Finally, in March of 2017, some details emerged regarding the future of Treasure Island. An expansion capital firm called Brightlight had put together a proposal regarding all the details as to what the future of the hotel could be and how much it would cost. Their master plan was to sell the property to the Jaymore Group, a development firm based out of Ontario, Canada. The outline proposed a transformation into a Hyatt-flagged resort, making it the Treasure Island Hyatt Regency. While this entire plan was evaluated at $20.6 million, the purchase price from Jaymore would be just $11.5 million, along with $4.5 million in structural repairs. This sale would also give them control of 2 site parcels, including an acre of land next to the former resort, along with 300 feet of beach frontage. Over at the tower itself, significant alterations had been made, now with most of the front facade completely removed, likely an access for concrete reinforcements. Finally, construction gained some traction, with large crews on the site by November, continuing to fix the concrete and structural issues. The Jaymore Group came out and stated they were sinking significant funding into the future hotel, planning to invest up to $50 million on top of the price they already paid for the property. The firm's president was quoted by the Daytona Beach News-Journal, saying that his vision includes turning the tower into a modern and more glorious version of its former self. While no official branding was announced, Jaymore planned to reopen with the existing 227 rooms, 2 swimming pools, a deck bar, and now with 16,000 square feet of event space and 4,000 square feet of club lounge space, which means this plan likely calls for a much higher-end resort. It was also speculated at this time that the new hotel could even be completed as soon as early 2019. However, that never happened. Now, it's somewhat unclear as to what actually happened to Jaymore's progression, but through 2018, nothing really progressed. In some drone footage shot by Bobby Krupsak in March, the tower had clearly seen no construction progress, and since that point, not much had changed. By early 2019, the tower looked exactly the way it did all the way back in 2017, and whatever project the Jaymore Group had planned, I don't think will happen now. While the site is still fenced off, somewhat maintained, and has security, it's not really well known as to who is actually paying for that. So that brings us to now. The Treasure Island property is still just a concrete, empty tower, almost completely unchanged since the front facade was completely removed. and at this point, it's almost undistinguishable from the former resort. The Jmart Group has since not commented on the project, and honestly, it's not even clear if it's still under their ownership. And even if it is, the plans drawn up in 2017 don't really seem to be happening. In late 2018, the city of Daytona Beach released a map identifying the tower as a place of necessary redevelopment. And even with their insistence on something new, it seems as though things are still in limbo. The once abandoned hotel still stands today as a shell of its former self, literally, and at this point the promise of it becoming a hotel once again is becoming less and less certain. Since my original video too, others have shared their home videos of Treasure Island in its heyday, of what the once luxury hotel used to look like. Things have definitely changed now, but seeing the tower in a state so much different, I think speaks to how interesting the original idea, well the 2017 one, was with returning the hotel back to its former glory. But in following with the tradition of the property, it seems as though the legal and financial issues still restrict the resort from ever seeing guests again. Though it really is in a weird state now, since the money has already been spent on repairing the structure, over $4.5 million, which means at some point, that investment will need to pay off. So honestly, the future of the Treasure Island Hotel is very uncertain. Will whoever owns it just sell it off and it gets demolished anyways? Will they finally commit to a renovation and bring the resort back? Or will they let the 11-story tower sit on the salty shores of Daytona Beach for another 5 years? Well, I hate this, but honestly, only time will tell. But really, I wouldn't be expecting to book a room there for a while. Well, that was a short update video. It's pretty hard to believe that in almost 5 years, nothing has really happened to the tower, despite repeated promises and failed projects. I'll be posting any updates to the resort on my Twitter, so if you're interested, but honestly, it might not even end up being until 2023 by that time, so who cares. Anyways, if you want to support the channel and get some perks in return, like high quality matte prints and early videos, you can go check out our Patreon page. A link will be in the description if that's something you're interested in. Anyway guys, my name is Jake, and thank you very much for watching.